Stop letting composition ruin your images. In this video, I'll show you how to master composition faster so you will finally feel in control of your photos. And once you learn these steps, you won't just take pictures, you will create images that people can't stop looking at. Small changes can make big difference in composition. So let's start with a few simple shifts you can take right now to create stunning photographs. And stay with me. By the end, you will have 4 composition tools in your pocket that will help you transform your images immediately. Alright, so let's start with simplicity. Most of us think we need more in the frame to make the photographs interesting. Here's the truth. The more you add, the more you confuse your audience. Simplicity is about removing distractions so your subject becomes undeniable. When there's only one clear message in your frame, the audience connects faster and remembers longer. Think about it like a stage. If there are too many actors speaking at the same time, you don't know who to listen to. But if the spotlight is just on one actor, the story is absolutely clear. And the story is also very, very powerful. In photography, the spotlight is simplicity. Ask yourself, what can I remove from the frame? What doesn't serve my story? The less you give your audience to think about, the more they can feel. And once you master simplicity, you'll see why the next tip, foreground, makes the images feel alive, almost three-dimensional. Okay, so here is tip number 2, the usage of foreground. Foreground is one of the simplest ways you can add depth and dimension to your photographs. When you place something in between the subject and your lens, you are creating layers. And those layers make your audience feel like they've stepped into the scene, not just looking at a flat image. Let me tell you a story. I was standing in tall weeds staring straight at the puma. I was terrified it might attack. And at that moment, my eyes just could not look at anything else but him. I was focused like this, straight onto the puma. Everything else just disappeared. I was watching every single move of his breathing, his eye shifts. Everything that he was doing, I was watching. Why? Because I was focused at him. Everything else was gone. I took a photograph. What that did was it showed the connection I had with the puma immediately. And that's exactly what you want. You want your audience to get connected to your subject because you are connected to the subject. That's exactly what foreground does. Blurring it isn't just a technical trick. It's a way to force your audience to look at what you want to show them. It's a way to force connection. It's like pointing a finger at something. Nobody's looking at your finger when you're pointing. They're looking at what you're showing them, and they are so focused at what you're showing them that they don't look at anything else. That's exactly what blurring of the foreground does. The foreground simply guides your viewer to your subject. It could be grass, it could be branches, it could be rocks, it could be anything that frames your subject without stealing attention from it. Here's the key: the foreground should guide the eye, not block it. Think of it as opening the door. You're inviting the viewer inside your photograph, making them feel like they're standing right next to you. That is the magic of foreground. It transforms a simple picture into an impressive experience. But what happens if the environment is messy or distracting? That's when you use blocking. And this one technique can save almost any composition. Alright, let's get into it. Blocking. Tip number 3. Blocking is when you use elements in your frame to hide distractions or control what your audience sees. For example, I position myself so that the snowbank hides the messy distraction of the trees behind it. If I had taken this image standing up, the trees would be in the frame, pulling your eye away from the snowy owl. Blocking gives you control. Instead of letting the chaos of the environment take over, you shape the frame so the important part remains. Or in this case, I place the chaos of the water around my subject. So you're not looking at the chaos, instead your eyes are drawn away from the chaos into the intensity of their faces. Think of it like you're editing while you're shooting. You decide what your audience sees or does not see, so their attention goes exactly where you want it to go. And when you combine blocking, simplicity, and foreground, suddenly your photographs look intentional, polished, and unforgettable. But to take it one step further, there's a fourth composition tool that creates harmony and balance instantly, and that is symmetry. Alright guys, composition tip number 4. Symmetry is when both sides of the frames feel balanced, almost like a mirror. Our eyes are naturally drawn towards balance. It feels calm, powerful, and complete. When you place the subject in the center and align the elements in either side, the photograph feels stable and intentional. It creates a sense of harmony and immediately connects with the viewer. And here is something most of us don't realize. Most cameras focus perfectly in the center. They also mirror accurately in the center. And that comes from the way old camera manufacturers designed their systems decades ago. So when you use symmetry, you're not just creating balance, you're also utilizing your camera's best functioning tools and making your job so much easier as a photographer. And mind you, if you are shooting with a large megapixel camera, you can utilize and take images with the center and then go back and recompose it, shift it to either one side or the other, depending on what you want to show your audience. And the technical elements in your frame will remain intact and perfect, like sharpness and exposure and so on. And now all of a sudden, you just don't have a technically perfect image, but you also have a balanced image. That's why symmetry is so powerful. You get the best of both worlds, technical, creative, and it helps you create harmony. And here is the big answer for composition. You can control how your audience feels about your images and make them unforgettable. Try them one at a time and then start to combine them to get maximum results. That's when your composition will stop looking accidental and look super intentional, and your images are going to feel unforgettable. But mastering the art of composition is one thing. Learn how to layer your images with lighting. Take a look at this video here to learn about spot metering and how you can layer your images to make unforgettable photographs. I'll see you guys later. Thank you.